Saudi media have launched an unprecedented wave of criticism against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump following their recent remarks on plans for the forced displacement of the Palestinians from Gaza. The reaction has marked a noticeable significant shift in the kingdom's media coverage of Israel and Hamas, which has been picked up on by several pan-Arab outlets. This is significant given that Saudi media is generally seen as towing the government line on key issues and has a record of echoing state foreign policy. Earlier this month, Trump suggested that Saudi Arabia and other wealthy Middle Eastern nations should finance the reconstruction of Gaza, implying that the US could, quote-unquote, purchase the devastated enclave. Shortly after, Netanyahu remarked that Saudi Arabia, which has rejected any normalization with Israel without reaching a two-state solution, should consider building a Palestinian state in its territory. What we are seeing right now is a radical shift of the Saudi media leaning towards the Palestinian people, especially in Gaza, than to be leaning on Israel, unlike in the past. In the past, we have seen how Saudi media would the best keep quiet, the worst they will talk against the people of Palestine, the Arab states. But right now, that has changed. Saudi Foreign Ministry quickly issued a strongly worded statement rejecting Netanyahu's remarks, calling them, quote, the words of an extremist occupying mindset that fails to grasp the significance of Palestinian land to its people, end quote. The ministry accused Netanyahu of attempting to divert attention from Israel's ongoing crimes against Palestinians in Gaza, including ethnic cleansing. And these are heavily worded statements. Heavily loaded statements from the Saudi media. These are coming at a time when Saudi Arabia is perhaps waking up to this reality. The Zionist people, the Zionist regime and their army, the Zionist forces, they are not really as powerful or as strong as it wanted us to believe. The Palestinian people have a legitimate right to their land. They are not outsiders or migrants who can be expelled at Israel's will. The statement read, signaling a clear rejection of any forced displacement plans. What stood out in the official response was the deliberate omission of Netanyahu's official title, with the state-run Al-Ikhbariya channel later confirming that it was intentional. They're now taking aim at Benjamin Netanyahu personally. They're now mocking him. They're now joking with all of the news that we are seeing. They're just making fun of Netanyahu. And this was echoed by Ben-Gvir, the Itamar Ben-Gvir, the extremist minister, who said basically that we have become a laughingstock. The whole world is laughing at us. The name of the state no longer applies to Israel, quote-unquote, a commentator on the channel said, reinforcing a stronger Saudi stance following years of talk on normalization. Saudi Arabia further escalated the rhetoric with Al-Ikhbariya referring to Netanyahu as, quote, a Zionist son of a Zionist, and asserting that the occupation, quote, the occupation has one face, and that face is Benjamin Netanyahu. I have said this in my previous videos where we have noticeably seen that these media outlets, the politicians, the leadership echelon, the Shura Council, powerful Shura Council of Saudi Arabia, they're now more and more using this term Zionist. Unlike in the past, again, they have never used this kind of word with an intent of insult to the Israeli people. But now they're calling them openly Zionist. In this case, they call him a Zionist, quote, a Zionist son of a Zionist. This is remarkable.
Saudi Arabia and Israel remain on a confrontational course over the fate of Palestinians. In the latest, Riyadh has ferociously rejected Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's suggestion that instead of internationally recognized Palestinian lands, Saudi Arabia could establish a Palestinian state in its territory if it wishes to.
Meanwhile, the Saudi Pan-Arab Al Arabiya channel questioned Netanyahu's mental and physical health, suggesting that his erratic decision-making may have influenced his latest proposals. During a broadcast, Al Arabiya anchor Reem Bogwamar provocatively asked, quote, "Has Netanyahu entered the stage of the slaughtered rooster?" Wow, this is unbelievable. Shift in coverage on Hamas. Perhaps the most surprising shift in Saudi media's response was its changing tone towards Hamas, a group historically linked to the Muslim Brotherhood and with which Riyadh had a strained relationship. For years, Saudi media had portrayed Hamas as a terrorist organization and distanced itself from it. Well, looks like that day is over. Saudi Arabia is no longer worried about Muslim Brotherhood. They don't care about all of those terminology. Looks like they are okay with Muslim Brotherhood coexisting with them, simply because they believe, to me what I understand, that existing or coexisting with Israel in the region, in the Middle East, is much more dangerous than coexisting with Muslim Brotherhood. I think this is what they're now realizing slowly but surely. In October, amid the war on Gaza, the Saudi broadcaster MBC faced backlash and boycott calls after airing a report that labels some of the Hamas's late leaders as terrorists. So again, they're facing backlashes because, again, Hamas no longer is a terrorist organization, and the Saudi people, they're not afraid of it. If you call Hamas a terrorist organization in Saudi Arabia at the moment, you know what will happen. A lot of people will become very upset and perhaps angry with you. However, in the wake of Trump and Netanyahu's remarks, Saudi news outlets, including leading newspaper Okaz and Asharq al-Awsat, published Hamas statements condemning the displacement proposals. What we are seeing more and more is this. After the proposal of cleaning out Gaza, quote unquote, by Donald Trump, Saudi Arabia media, the government is losing it. They are now utterly shocked. How could Donald Trump say this kind of thing where Saudi Arabia will be a place, according to Israeli Prime Minister himself, he said, Saudi Arabia is going to be a place for the people of Palestine, people of Gaza, because they have a lot of land. And this is something that is not sitting well. They are completely rejecting this kind of rhetoric from Netanyahu and saying that, look, you are losing your mental health, your physical health. Who knows how long you will live? So this is something absolutely remarkable, guys. We have few comments here from Okaz newspaper from Saudi Arabia reaffirms Palestinians, quote, have a right to their land. They are not outsiders. So again, it is coming from Saudi newspapers. I'm going to be reading some of them in this video. Then the next one is Al Riyadh, Saudi Arabia again. Saudi sovereignty is a red line. An Arabic Islamic uprising against Netanyahu reaffirms Palestinian rights. Al Madina, the Palestinian people's right will remain firm and cannot be taken away, no matter how long it takes, end quote. So it's coming from Al Madina newspaper. All of these newspapers, they are now eviscerating Donald Trump and also Netanyahu. Support our channel by liking, subscribing to our channel. If you have any comment, leave a comment section. I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day.